001. We're going to put this as glowing 2. And now we can alter the colours that we originally had. So we can take this green right here and we can make this a pink. And you'll notice that it's now different from this one. We can now go ahead and we can take the white and... Okay, welcome to the next tutorial of Blender. So what we're going to be making today is we're going to be making a potion bottle. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the default cube and we'll come over to render. We'll switch out EV to cycles and we'll go ahead and, I mean, you could use a UV sphere for this, but to be honest with you, I think we have more control with the circle. So let's go ahead and add this to our scene. Let's go ahead and go to edit mode. And you'll notice that all these little points come up right here. We don't currently have a face. So let's press F for fill for face. And we're going to go E for extrude and just bring this up slightly. Now, what I'm going to do is let's go to a side view on this side so you guys can see what's going on. So we just press 1 for side view. And we should be able to get it there. Now, if you don't have the accountant's number pad on the side, don't worry about it. All you need to do is just go to view and you should have viewpoint just at the top right here. And then you've got all these options right here to see the object however you would like. So we have the base right here. We have the top that's already highlighted. I'm just going to go ahead and press S for scale just to pull this outwards a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a bevel. Let's go E for extrude. We'll do E for extrude again. Bring it up just ever so slightly. S for scale to bring this outwards. E for extrude again. And then S for scale to bring this outwards. So we're going to start to make a little bulb here. So just imagine that there's a circle here. Just try and make that as circle as possible. If you need a little bit of a guide, let's go back to object mode real quick. We can go to add. And we could go with UV sphere. This is just to guide you around kind of a circle. We could place this here. And we could kind of just have this just here. So let's go 1 for side view again. And if you go up to the top right here, which is toggle X-ray, you can see through both objects, which will essentially give you kind of a little bit of a traceable line to go around the outside here. That's totally up to you if you want to do that. I'm going to remove mine just for the moment. So let's go back to this object right here. Go to edit mode. If you still need that, don't delete it. You can delete that one afterwards. So we've got the base right here. We can go with G just to bring this up just ever so slightly. We can go E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude again, S for scale, E for extrude, S for scale, just bring that out into a nice little bowl shape. And then E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude, and just start to bring your design round just ever so slightly to where you need it to be. I think my one's just going to be a little bit off the circle, but that's fine. Okay, so now we have this kind of shape. What we're going to do is make the neck of the bottle. So I'm just going to press G just to bring this down just ever so slightly just here. Going to go E for extrude, S for scale, and then we'll go E for extrude and bring this right up. E for extrude again, S for scale just to make this little bottle neck. And this will be the top of the bottle right here. And then E for extrude again, just bring it up just slightly. S for scale to give it that little bevel. We'll go E for extrude, leave it where it is, click, S for scale, so this is now flat. And now we have the top of the bottle right here. Now, depending on how thick the glass is that you would like for this project, if you want it quite thin, we're going to place the edges quite close to these edges. And if you want it quite thick, then it's going to be a very shallow bowl on the inside. So we're going to go on the inside at the moment. Let's go ahead, if you haven't already, toggle X-ray, which should be at the top. If you need to scroll, just use the center scroll wheel and everything should move like this. So yeah, toggle X-ray, make sure that's selected. We'll go E for extrude And then we're going to use the center wheel right here just to bring this down as such. So this little orange bit now is on the inside, as you can see. So as I said with the glass thickness, this is going to be quite thin right here, but we can make this thicker at the bottom if you wanted to. E for extrude, bring this down. S for scale. E for extrude, bring this down. S for scale. Perhaps with this one, I'm just going to go ahead and... Sorry, 1 second. I'm just going to go ahead and click 7 to heaven. And then do X-ray so you guys can see the inside from the top view. So let's go ahead and just move that across as such. E for extrude, bring this down. And then S for scale. And you'll notice that you can see that on the inside right there. We'll go E for extrude again, bring this down. Let's go S for scale. E for extrude, bring this down. And usually, when glass is blown, it tends to be thicker at the bottom. So, we'll go ahead and just bring this in just ever so slightly. E for extrude again. S for scale, bring this down. As such. And I'm just going to go ahead and round this off on the inside. Just as such. So, once we've got something like this, let's take off this X-ray mode. The base right here, let's select the faces just at the side. We want to kind of pull this in just a little bit. So if we go 1 again, X-ray mode, E for extrude, leave it where it is. S for scale, bring it in just slightly. And then E for extrude again. And just kind of make a little bulb just in the middle as such. So now you should have something like this. We're going to go right click shade smooth. So now we've got the inside of the bulb. We've got the outside of the bulb right here. And we have kind of a little place where you can put a lid if you'd like to do that. The next thing that I would say that we should do is let's go ahead and add a little bit of liquid on the inside. So ignore the caps lock, I pressed the wrong one. So let's go ahead with the circle again. Mesh, circle. You can see that it appears right here at the bottom. We're going to press G, bring this up, bring this right to the bottom right here. S for scale, bring this down. Let's go to edit mode. You're going to press F for fill. We're going to go E for extrude, bring this up. S for scale, and all you're going to do is just follow the inside of the bottle. So E for extrude again. S for scale. Whoops. Just try and get that as close to the original as you possibly can. E for extrude. S for scale. Now you can go ahead and have a little bit of liquid in here or a lot of liquid in here, depends on your preference. So we can just pull that out there. E for extrude. It doesn't have to be perfect if you don't want it to be. That's fine. I'm going to leave mine just there. Let's go to object mode, right click shade smooth. So now we have this nice little bulb kind of potion bottle. Let's go ahead and add a plane underneath. And I'm going to take off this X-ray mode. And let's go ahead and just get rid of this atom split right here. There we go. Okay, so let's go with materials to begin with. So you're going to need this bar right here at the side. I may move myself over. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. I'm going to sit and fit right here. So the next thing that you need to do is these are the tabs at the side that can change your objects, change everything that Blender sees, or you see for Blender. You're going to go to the bottom one that looks like a little bit of a pink world, which is material. Let's go to new, and you'll be presented with a surface and a material 001 and a principal BSDF. Now with this, we're going to go ahead and name this material, just double click on it, as glass. And for the surface, what we're going to do is go and click the Principal BSDF. The drop down menu should come down, and you should have Glass BSDF underneath. So with this, you're going to go ahead and turn down the roughness. Now, it doesn't look much like glass at the moment, so I'm just going to turn off the toggle X-ray, and we'll go to the viewport shading rendered, which is at the top right here. And you can see that if we just turn this around, this is starting to look a little bit more glass-like. Now, if we mess around with the IOR, you can see that we get different effects on our model. So I believe the lower the IOR is, the thinner the glass should look. And the higher the IOR is, the thicker the glass should look. So we could have something like this. Now, if you want to change this liquid on the inside, I'm going to go ahead and just delete the default light for a moment. So, yeah, let's go back to the wireframe mode for a moment. We'll select the liquid on the inside of the bowl. Go back to your materials. We'll click new. This one will be glowing material. Let's go to Principal BSDF, and we want to go to emission. So I'm going to make this kind of like a funky green. And when we go back to the render port right here, we now have this very glowy, nice kind of green potion going on. So this is kind of a very cool thing that we can do. We can also alter the strength of this. We can turn this off, we can turn this on, we can turn this super bright, super dark, whatever you want to. If you want to add some texture in here, we can go ahead to the shading tab right here that's at the top. And what we can do, we've got our emission and we've got our material output right here. Now, don't get worried about this. The first time that I ever saw something like this and I went to the shader tab, I went, oh my gosh, what does that mean? It's very simple. It's just plug and play, essentially. Just experiment with it if you're a little bit nervous with it, see what it does. It might take a while, but, you know, it's good to experiment. I like experimenting. So we'll go with noise texture. And I'm just going to turn on the render right here so you guys can see what happens. So we have this nice little glowy green kind of thing. We've got our emission going on. We're going to go noise texture, color from the noise texture into color for the emission. Now you'll see that this has now changed into this kind of weird, multicolored, essentially candy floss kind of looking kind of situation. That's the only way that I can describe it. But it's still an emission. It's still creating light around the outside, and we can still alter the strength of the light as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab this and just place this to the side, because we're going to need another little component right here. So let's go ahead and add in a color ramp. So you want to spell this as color as the Americans do. Color ramp, let's go with color ramp. There we go. Right, okay, so I don't know anyone else who spells colour with C-O-L-O-R. It's only the Americans that I've known, really. But yeah, it's just your language, I guess. But for us, it's O-U-R. So yeah, we'll go with this one. So we want this a nice lime green. Let's go ahead and just change that component right there to this nice lime green. You've also got black and white on here as well, and if you slide the black across, you'll start to get these little pieces in here, right here, and if you slide the white across, it'll start to contrast a little bit more on the opposite side as well, as you can see. But this is still an emission, so it's not going to lose any lights doing this. So I'm just going to put in a little bit of black there. I'm going to put some green. The whites can come through, and let's press plus again, and let's put another one just here, but let's have like a yellowy orange, like a really bright yellowy orange. Let's see what happens with that one. If we just bring it up just a little bit, it's going to add a little bit of tone to that white, just kind of offset it just a little bit, as you can see just right there. So you could have this as a nice little potion going on. Let's see, if you wanted, let's go to layout real quick. You could also place some stuff in there if you wanted to, mess around with the settings. You've got pass index. As I said, just experiment with this. You've got line art, you've got viewport display as well, so you can take down the roughness if you wanted to on this or increase it. You can have a little bit metallic just pulled in there. Since this is a liquid, it's probably going to have a little bit of metallic to begin with. You could try sphere from shadow. I'm just going through the different settings here that you can have. I would say just experiment with all of this stuff. That would be cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make another one. So let's box select this. So just hold in and then just kind of drag it across. Maybe doing this on wireframe is going to be a lot better, so you can select everything. Make sure you don't select the camera in the background. Let's go with Shift D, move this across. And we're going to make a secondary one here, but we're going to change the colours. So let's go with shading. So you'll notice both of these are the exact same colour right here. So let's go ahead. And what I want to do, let's go wireframe, select the material on the inside. Let's go to render again. You'll notice that this one is called glowing. So this is the exact same material as the opposing one that we've just made. We want to duplicate this, but we want the exact same settings. So we're going to go with new material right here, which is just selected. Where's my camera at? I'm like the opposite. So, there, somewhere. New material right here, just in the mid-center of the screen. We'll click that one. So now we've got glowing 001. We're going to put this as glowing 2. And now we can alter the colours that we originally had. So we can take this green right here and we can make this a pink. And you'll notice that it's now different from this one. We can now go ahead and we can take the white and move it to the side if you wanted to. So now you've kind of got this nice little pinky kind of amber kind of look. If you wanted to, you could make another flask and make a completely different one. Let's go ahead and select everything right here. Shift D. So now we've got this pink one. We're going to go ahead and click new material. So this is going to be glowing 0012. We're going to change that up to glowing 3. And we will change this pink out for, let's go with a blue. So now we have a blue one. I'm just going to go ahead and move these. I've kind of put them at a wrong distance. These two are quite close. I just want to move these so you guys can see the emissions. Alright, so the base as well. For the plane that we've put down here, we don't actually have a material, so let's go with new. And then we'll turn the roughness all the way up, so we can see that light a little bit more. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to the world scene, to the colour on this one, and make this black. So this is more luminous now, so you can see how the emission's working, and you can see how the colours are kind of coming through. I would say personally experiment with this and just see what you can do with it. Yeah, if you guys like this tutorial, please like, subscribe. I'm trying to get up to the partnership level at the moment. I'm just under 1,000 watch hours, so hopefully I'm going to be getting it soon. But yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess. I will see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye.